Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Listen, if you're over 60 and you've been dealing with this kind of unexplained weakness, feeling tired all the time or just noticing your body simply doesn't bounce back the way it used to, well, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to walk through a complete, totally science-backed blueprint to literally reverse that weakness. We're breaking down exactly what's going on inside your body and, more importantly, how you can fix it. I really want to speak directly to a frustration I hear all the time. You might be following all the traditional health advice, eating what you consider to be a strictly healthy diet. Yet, you're still struggling to carry all the groceries from the car in one single trip. Or maybe you're even starting to fear losing your balance and taking a fall. It's incredibly frustrating, right? Like, why on earth is this happening when you're trying to do everything right?
Okay, let's dive right into this. Here is our roadmap for today. First, we'll uncover the silent muscle thief. Second, we're looking at breakfasts destroying your muscles. Third, we'll introduce 5 morning power foods. Fourth, we'll lay out 4 rules for senior muscle. And finally, fifth, we'll cover your commitment to rebuild.
All right, Section 1, the silent muscle thief. We really need to set the record straight on the root cause of this age-related weakness. Because honestly, once you understand the enemy, you can defeat it. The silent thief we're talking about is sarcopenia. And let me be clear, this isn't just normal aging. It's an actual condition where your body is actively losing muscle mass way faster than it can build it back up. Think about what happens when you sleep, right? There's this 2-step overnight repair process. First, just the daily use of your muscles creates these microscopic tears in the fibers. Then, your body senses that damage and kicks into repair mode to rebuild those fibers stronger. But here's the catch. If you don't have the exact right fuel in your system the next morning, that whole repair process completely fails. So, the crucial point is this staggering number, 40%. Recent research shows that inactive seniors can lose up to 40% of their muscle mass in a single year. Seriously, that means almost half of your muscle strength could literally just vanish in 12 months if you let sarcopenia take over and don't give your body the fuel it desperately needs. Section 2, breakfasts destroying your muscles. This is where it gets crazy. It turns out the standard American breakfast, the exact foods we've been told for decades are perfectly fine or even healthy, they are secretly destroying your muscle tissue. Look at these 5 morning culprits: white bread, fasted coffee, processed meats, skim milk with oats, and refined cereals. People are actually starving their muscles by accident. Take James, for instance. He's a security guard who nearly lost his job because his habit of drinking coffee on an empty stomach left him way too weak to even lift his equipment. Or consider Sarah, a retired teacher. She suffered from severe inflammation and weakness simply because of her daily morning bacon habit. Now, what's really interesting about this contrast is how these 2 incredibly popular morning habits work. When you drink coffee on an empty stomach, it triggers your body's stress hormone, cortisol. Your body literally thinks it's in survival mode and actually breaks down your precious muscle for emergency energy. No way, right? Well, on the flip side, eating white bread floods your system with sugar, spiking your insulin. And high insulin? It acts like a giant padlock on your muscle-building factory, totally blocking protein synthesis. Both of these habits uniquely cannibalize your own muscle. And what about those so-called healthy choices? Get this, removing the fat from milk removes the exact delivery system your body needs to absorb crucial vitamins. This means skim milk actually leaches calcium right out of your existing muscles. And refined cereals, they contain anti-nutrients that block amino acid absorption entirely. Take Dorothy, a grandmother, and Harold, a retired carpenter. They both came in with severe weakness. Dorothy couldn't lift her granddaughter, and Harold's hands shook way too much for woodworking. They both regained immense strength just by dropping skim milk and bran flakes from their diets. It's a real game changer. Moving on to Section 3, 5 morning power foods. Don't worry, because we absolutely have the solution. We're going to introduce the specific, accessible foods you can buy at any local grocery store that will turn your body into an absolute muscle-building machine. Here's a mental screenshot you should take to the grocery store tomorrow. These are the direct swaps you need to make. Trade your white bread for Greek yogurt. Swap that fasted coffee for whole eggs. Trade the skim milk and oats for avocado. Replace those processed meats with lean turkey or chicken. And ditch the refined cereals for nuts and seeds. The whole shebang. You might be wondering, why Greek yogurt? Well, because 1 serving of plain, full-fat Greek yogurt contains 2.5 grams of leucine. Leucine is basically the master amino acid, and 2.5 grams is the exact threshold your body needs to literally flip the switch on your muscle-building machinery right when you wake up. The clinical data for seniors over 60 eating these foods is just incredibly impressive. Let's talk about the average lean muscle gained over a year. Lean meats like turkey and chicken pack massive amounts of creatine naturally, leading to an average of 3.1 pounds of lean muscle gain. Whole eggs boast a 94% biological value, meaning your body uses almost all of that protein for pure muscle growth, resulting in 2.3 pounds gained. And nuts and seeds aren't far behind at 1.8 pounds. And hey, let's not forget our healthy fats. Pairing avocado with your protein actually boosts essential amino acid absorption by up to 40%. Plus, avocados deliver essential potassium and healthy fats. Add in your nuts and seeds, which give you omega-3s and zinc, and you will drastically reduce muscle soreness and inflammation. That speeds up your whole recovery process. Let's move to Section 4. 4 rules for senior muscle. Let's see how this builds from the diet into the actual physical and physiological rules of exercising after age 60. Because, diet is really only half the battle. Building muscle is this beautiful synergy between the kitchen and the gym. So here are the 4 pillars to building senior muscle. Optimizing your recovery time, leveraging your training history, boosting your testosterone, and committing with intensity. Let's start with recovery. As a senior, you absolutely need 3 to 5 days for the muscle recovery phase after hitting a muscle group hard. Your older body just naturally repairs slower than it did back in your 20s. You absolutely must give it that time, backed up with ample sleep and plenty of hydration so those proteins you're eating can actually get in there and do their repair work. Now, if you're sitting there thinking, well, I haven't exercised in 30 years, it's way too late for me, I have some fantastic news for you. Being a beginner is actually a massive advantage. You have this massive gap between your current strength and your genetic potential. Because you're basically starting from scratch, your body is totally primed to see rapid, highly motivating muscle gains. A veteran who's been lifting for decades, they're much closer to their genetic ceiling and have to fight incredibly hard for every single ounce of new muscle. You, on the other hand, are going to see a really fast ramp up. We also have to address the science of hormonal decline. It's just a fact of life. At age 30, you hit your peak natural testosterone, but by age 60, those levels can decline by up to 60%. And testosterone is absolutely crucial for efficiently building muscle and burning fat. Lower levels just make building muscle less efficient. However, proper nutrition, like those healthy fats from avocados and eggs we just discussed, along with getting proper sleep and considering science-backed supplementation, well, that can help bridge this gap naturally. Finally, Section 5. Your commitment to rebuild. This is the final element that ties all of this science, all of this nutrition, and all of these physical rules together. Your commitment. You really have to work out intensely. When you're lifting weights and you push your muscles to near failure, you create lactic acid buildup. And you know what? That temporary burning sensation is actually doing something magical. It sends a direct signal to your brain to ramp up your body's natural production of testosterone. That is exactly what triggers your body to adapt and grow bigger and stronger. To quote the material directly, the old phrase, no pain, no gain, that pain is the temporary lactic acid when you're straining hard. That's the commitment and intensity. You really can't just go halfway on this. You can't just push hard on a Monday and then totally coast for the rest of the week. Consistency, week after week, both in dropping those toxic breakfasts for power foods and showing up with real intensity in your workouts, is the absolute key to unlocking your strength. So, I leave you with this final thought. You now know exactly what is secretly stealing your strength, and you have the precise science-backed blueprint to take it back. So what's it going to be? Will you let sarcopenia dictate your future, limiting your mobility and your independence? Or will you throw out those destructive breakfast habits, commit to the process, and start rebuilding your 40-year-old body tomorrow morning? The choice is entirely yours.